Salir a comer es uno de mis pasatiempos favoritos. Hoy quiero hablar en inglés sobre eso. Esto es mi diario de Inglés Británico con Shandon, profesor nativo de Inglés Británico. Un podcast para hispanohablantes que quieren entrenar su oído para hablar inglés con seguridad y conseguir mejores trabajos en el Reino Unido. Empecemos. Welcome to episode 31 of the podcast. I hope you've been well, and I hope you're ready to improve your English. As I mentioned in the introduction, this episode is about going out to eat, which is one of my favorite things to do. So today, I'm going to speak about why I love going out to eat, how often I eat out, why I eat out less often now than I used to, and my favorite types of food to eat when I go out to eat. So let's get started. First, I want to speak about why I love going out to eat. I've had many great experiences going out to eat, and I have many great memories from my life from going out to eat as well. We usually eat 3 times a day, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And most of the time, when we eat at home, it's the same experience. It's a very similar experience, which can be interesting, but most of the time, every day, we have the exact same experience of eating 3 times a day. However, when we go out to eat, we have a completely different experience in a completely different environment, and everything about it is different. It's almost like you're transported to a different world for a bit. You see different things, you try different food, you see different people. It's just a completely new experience and a different experience, which I love. Plus, of course, the food is delicious, usually at least. Of course, I've had some occasions when I've eaten out and the food has been very average or pretty bad, but most of the time it's really, really good. Of course, the food is made by professionals, not made by me, so they know what they're doing. I'm not a bad cook, but I'm definitely not the best cook in the world. So eating food made by professionals, professional chefs, is a great experience as well. So let's talk about how often I go out to eat, or how often I eat out. We use those 2 phrases, they mean the same thing. Go out to eat and eat out. So I used to eat out maybe once a fortnight. I'd go out once every 2 weeks and I'd eat with friends or family. Sometimes I used to eat out once a week, and on occasion I would eat out even more if there were special occasions, for example, birthdays and things like that, or if maybe just in a week I was feeling particularly hungry. But now I don't eat out as often. I maybe eat out once a month, usually with my girlfriend and with my family sometimes as well. So I definitely eat out less often now than I used to a few years ago. And I'll explain why a bit more later on. But yeah, at the moment, probably once a month I eat out. What are my favorite types of food to eat when I go out to eat? I've eaten out many times in my life, and I like many different cuisines, but by far my favorite food to eat is Mexican food. I love Mexican food. I think it's absolutely delicious, and there are so many different delicious dishes in Mexican food. Tacos, there's such a great variety of fillings for the tacos with pork, beef, chicken, and so on. And they have great desserts like tres leches cake, things like that. So Mexican food is definitely my favorite. My favorite Mexican restaurant here in London is called La Chingada. I think there are 3 different branches of the restaurant now. I know there's definitely one in Euston, and there's also one in Surrey Quays as well. But that's a great restaurant if you'd like a recommendation. Also, I love Jamaican food. Food from Jamaica. My heritage is from Jamaica, so my family came from Jamaica. My great-grandparents in the 1950s came to London from Jamaica. And I love Jamaican food. There are some good Jamaican restaurants in London. So I love to go out to eat Jamaican food from time to time. I also love Turkish food or Middle Eastern food. Food from the Middle East. Their food is delicious and I love their way of eating with meats like chicken, lamb, and bread. Their bread is always delicious, and dips like hummus, for example, plus different vegetables as well, and sometimes rice. They always give you lots of free bread, which I love because I love eating bread, especially with dips. So those are some of my favorite cuisines: Mexican, Jamaican, and Turkish. But I love trying different types of food, and I always try different types of food. And in my life so far, I've tried many different types of food from many different countries. And I would love to try food from every country in my life if that's possible, because there's such a great variety of dishes and ingredients as well. Of course, there can be lots of similarities between the cuisines of different countries, but there are so many differences as well. So, why do I eat out less now than I used to? Of course, as I said at the beginning of the episode, I love eating out, and it's one of my favorite things to do. But it's quite expensive to eat out in London. As you may know from my previous episodes, or you just may know anyway, London is quite an expensive city, and eating out is no exception. It can be very expensive to eat out in London, and you can easily spend £100 for 2 people to eat out. So you can easily spend £100 just for 2 people to have dinner without any alcohol as well. Just food and soft drinks. That's happened to me a few times before in my life, and it's a lot of money just for one meal. Because I'm in London as well, sometimes restaurants try to take advantage of you and they try to rip you off. So they charge you very high prices for not very good quality, and also for not very much food, quite small portions of food. For example, there's one place I went to earlier this year, and me and my girlfriend, we spent £75 on the meal. It was a lunch, and we were not full at all at the end. I could have eaten double the amount. I was still hungry at the end. So to spend £75 and still be hungry, in my opinion, is not good. Of course, there are good places here in London that are good value, but there are also lots of places that are not worth it. They're not worth the money. So now, I still do eat out from time to time, but if I go out to meet a friend, for example, I often try to eat before going out to save money. For example, if I'm meeting a friend, I might eat at home, then go out to meet them somewhere to catch up, which means I don't need to spend money on food outside of the house, which means I save a lot of money. Then, when I do go out to eat, I try to only go to places that I think will be very good. No average or mediocre places. Only trying to go to the best places that I think will be good based on what I like or that have been recommended to me by someone that I trust. Okay, so that's the end of this episode about eating out. I hope you found it interesting and useful for improving your English. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Gracias por escuchar este episodio de mi diario de Inglés Británico. Quiero contarte sobre Suelta la Lengua Club, mi comunidad donde los latinos dejan de bloquearse y empiezan a hablar inglés con seguridad. Hacemos sesiones de speaking en vivo por Zoom y práctica con audios. Y hay una comunidad donde puedes practicar cada semana. Aprende más sobre el club y únete a través del link en la descripción del episodio. Gracias y nos vemos pronto. Bye.